Welcome down the Weeble Hole. Today we're doing something a little different.
We're not, though. We're just reviewing an anime that we watched very recently, like we always do, so
Yep.
not different at all.
We watched this one together pretty much,
For the most part.
the bulk,
Yeah.
3/4.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. It's March Comes In Like a Lion.
Yeah, which has a super high rating on Mal,
Which
and
is-
once again, we're going to tear down a little bit,
Yeah.
because we don't fully agree with the rating that it has.
Yeah, undeserving.
A little bit, yeah.
Trash, no, not even close.
I don't think it's trash. I think it just happened to air like during a huge spike and surgence of anime fans, and it as a result, because it was super beautiful and it wasn't anything like anything that anybody had ever seen before, it got a lot of praise. I think that was the big thing for it. But
Is that
we're
your
gonna
theory?
yeah pretty
Mine
much.
is that a lot of Shaft fans as well were like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I also agree with you. It's a very beautiful looking anime. There's no doubt about it. It's
Yeah.
very well done. One of Shaft's best works,
For sure.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
And,
I mean they have a lot. They have Monogatari, they have Madoka, but
Nisekoi is beautiful.
yeah, Nisekoi is amazing.
Like, I was super
in terms
impressed.
of animation. Well, generally, but yeah. So March Comes In Like a Lion, one of Shaft's more recent works.
Yeah.
I think it was actually before Nisekoi, if I'm not mistaken, because this came out in 2016, and I think Nisekoi was like shortly after, like the same year, but later season.
Yeah, I think it's 2016 too.
But yeah. Anyway, not at all what I was expecting, especially from the title.
I had no idea what I was in for.
I knew it would
I thought it was
be
gonna be
like
slice of life.
I knew it would be like dramatic sort of thing. That's the sort of feel I got from like the visual, the key visuals and stuff. Was definitely sort of a dramatic feel, and that's definitely what it gave us.
Yeah.
I want to draw, and it's sort of I want to say it's a sort of an unfair comparison, but I want to draw a lot of like links to Your Lie in April. Yeah, in a lot of ways, which we haven't talked about yet on the channel, but we both
I have
watched.
to rewatch it.
Yeah, you watched it a long time ago. I watched it a lot more recently, back in September. But
you
the main characters
remember?
are very similar. Like I want to say the edginess,
The tone.
yeah, not so much the edginess, but the tone of the story feels very similar.
It does.
Sort of the main character's like drowning in something. Is the feel that you get.
I feel that.
Yeah,
feel
but let's talk about the story a little bit. So,
Just a bit. Just give a rundown.
So, the story revolves mainly around, or it should revolve, and this is something I'm going to critique later. It should revolve mainly around the main character, Rei Kiriyama, who's a professional shogi player who lost his parents at a young age, was taken in by a shogi player,
Shogi master.
yeah, learned to master the game himself, and we're sort of seeing his progression through his late teens of being a professional player and getting better at
Shogi's
the game.
pretty much like Japanese chess.
Essentially, yeah. There's a lot of similarities to chess, especially being somebody that's been playing a lot of chess lately. When I got like the rundown of how the rules worked, I was like, this is very similar to chess. So, if you guys want to go look up how shogi works, or if you already know more or less because you've already watched this anime, then
And you play it yourself.
yeah, that's also a possibility.
If
Very
you're-
unlikely
If you're
though.
a master at it.
Yeah, very
wanna-
unlikely that Western audiences would play shogi. It's probably not commonplace. But anyway, the story revolves around this character who was who sort of now moved out of his foster home. He's living in his own apartment. He meets this new family that he spends a lot of time with. We get to see a lot of them. And story kind of pivots between his shogi life and his non-shogi life. And you see a lot of the mainly the focus is on his interaction with other characters. I feel like that's what the story is trying to force upon you is don't look so much at the shogi, look at like the minds of the people involved, even when they're playing. So that's pretty much the story. There's a lot more going on, and we're gonna touch upon specific arcs and specific things that happen that are quite important, I feel.
So first thing for me,
Yeah.
his non-shogi life,
Yeah.
I loved.
Yeah.
I found it super interesting. I was really involved.
Yeah.
And then his shogi life bored me to tears.
Well, that's the difference between you and me.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely bored by it because the reason it was sort of boring for me was because I don't understand the game fully.
Exactly. I don't.
Yeah, it's,
at all.
Like I said,
So
it's tough for a Western audience to watch.
It is.
And I'm 100%
Yeah.
agreed with that. However, being a competitive person myself and being a competitive gamer, I felt a lot of sympathy and a lot of familiarity with the main character and a lot of what he was feeling, and even other characters like Shimada and Nikaido. So that helped it a little bit. That helped me get through those parts. But I can see how for somebody that doesn't take gaming competitively, that this might not be the best anime for you to watch. Just because of those parts. But definitely the non-shogi related content within
it's
the
not
series.
really that. It was just I want to see more of his interactions with the other people.
Yeah.
I found that so much more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no.
And
It was great, which is why I think that the series does a nice job of splitting them up well.
No, I don't.
I do.
At all. I think there's way too much shogi.
Really?
Way too many. Like, episodes would go on and on about shogi, and I'm just
I
like,
think more in
stop.
season 2.
Yeah.
Like the second half of season 2. Yeah.
I couldn't. I
There's
was like,
too much focus on
I
shogi
was
at
like,
some point.
stop.
But season 1 does a good job of splitting it.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree for that.
So, yeah, and I see your point, and that's what made it very tough for me to finish those last few episodes, was because I was like, I don't want to hear any more about your damn shogi at some point.
And it's not okay. Look, it's also not entertaining to watch. They're just putting pieces down. If
Yeah.
they did like more, like there's that one character who does it super epically, and you're like, okay, I'm getting into this.
Yeah.
But then everyone else, Ray, just says,
Yeah.
Click,
if it was
click.
more like Food Wars-esque,
Yeah.
then it would be different. But that's not the... this is
I
the
know, I
problem.
understand. That's not the tone they're trying to go
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
That's not
This is the
style.
problem, is they're trying to make a competitive game like this, something that's supposed to be like taken seriously.
Slow and monotonous.
And especially for somebody that
Methodical,
doesn't fully-
sorry, not monotonous.
Yeah. Well, it is monotonous as well, but for somebody that doesn't take this game specifically seriously, or like I said, competitive gaming in general seriously, they're not going to enjoy this.
No.
Period. So I get that, and I would have liked to see, especially in the latter half of the second season, more focus on the other characters, because the first half of the second season is by far the best
Yep.
of the entire series.
By far.
So I want to start off by talking about that.
Let's just get into the good stuff.
Let's start with the good stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So, this arc really hit me hard. Probably more than a lot of other arcs, like centered around the same topic, which is of course bullying. And I haven't seen an anime do it this well.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah. Silent Voice was really good.
Silent Voice was good, but it didn't like explore certain avenues. It showed us a redemption story.
Yeah.
But it didn't show us like the process that you have to go through to get something like that to stop, right? Bullying is a serious issue, obviously.
Yeah.
It's something that I myself personally take very seriously, as I was somebody who was very much bullied in youth, and seeing Hina, one of the main characters, go through that, and just like all of the... I really like the way that Shaft animates when it comes to like very serious topics and things like that, because they really put a hard focus on like how the character's feeling and trying to convey that through animation, and especially with Hina, I think they did a great job. That first scene where she like walks in, has a shoe off,
that
and has her head down,
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And you're just like, what happened?
Yeah.
And you're feeling for this girl because you've loved this girl the entire series so far.
I would
She's
like
great.
I would like to bring up a previous scene.
Okay.
In season 1, where they're talking about their mother and how
Yeah.
she's like dead.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to
And she runs off.
the pier," and
Yeah.
then she goes cries by herself.
Yeah.
And Ray sees this.
Yeah.
So like you're already connected to this character. You know
Yes.
that there's a much more emotional depth to her.
And there's also a connection immediately created between Ray, our main character,
Yeah.
and this character, which is great because that helps along this segment as well, this whole bullying arc, because the entire time that and they divide it very nicely between Hina and Ray. Hina is trying to look for solutions. She's trying to be supported by her family, which at first her elder sister Akari doesn't support her the way that she wants to.
Yeah.
I love the scene when the grandfather's just like, you did the right thing.
Yeah, same.
You didn't do anything wrong, because
Yeah.
that's what you want to hear when you feel like you've tried to help a friend that's being bullied. And then like the focus shifts onto you. You want to be told by somebody that you care about that you're not the one in the
Yeah.
wrong here.
You did the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that, and then there's actually like her and how she approaches it at school and how she deals with it and how eventually like everything comes out, and especially that bitch teacher.
She's so cool.
Oh, what?
No, Hina's so cool.
Hina's
in this.
awesome. Hina's awesome the way she deals with all this. When she runs up to whatever the hell her name is, and she looks like she's about to punch her, and then she's just like, "What, did you think I was gonna punch you?"
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Damn, you're
Yeah.
cool." Hina's awesome, and I love that whole at school arc. And then there's Ray's side.
Which is great as well.
Yeah, Ray goes to his teacher for his advice.
Yeah, he's like, I want to help someone.
Yeah, exactly. His awesome teacher, which I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I think it's Hayashida. Okay, so luckily that was on screen.
Takashi.
Takashi Hayashida. He goes to Hayashida Sensei and asks him for advice on what to do with bullying. And I love his answer. Hayashida's answer is probably one of my favorite moments of the entire series. He's like, you're never going to find the right answer for this. There's always so many variables.
Yeah, like...
And no bully is ever going to admit to bullying.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. So what do you do about it? Well, there's a bunch of different avenues you can take. And Ray sort of has to kind of sit back and watch as Hina deals with this herself. In the meantime, he's with her like at nights, helping her study, teaching her shogi as well. She's getting ready for finals because she's just exiting middle school now. She's getting to the end of middle school, and at the same time he's teaching her shogi, which is his passion, and he's keeping her distracted. He's also keeping her company. So he's doing what he can. And then this other teacher comes in on Hina's side and is just like, all right, I'm big boss now.
He's voiced by the announcer from Kaiji, and I love it. I love it. I looked it up, and I was like, yes.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Like, his character's awesome, too. We don't see enough of him, but he does a great job dealing with the whole situation.
Yeah.
Is he not the principal?
I think he's the principal.
I think he's the
Or
principal.
the vice principal.
Yeah, and he comes in as their stand-in teacher,
Homeroom.
homeroom teacher, because the last one, as I was saying, that bitch.
Super.
I'm sorry.
sassy.
I hate her.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate her.
She's
The way
pretty
that she
awful.
dealt with everything was like fucking horrible. It's like, you're an educator. Not that dealing with bullying is easy, but what she was doing, writing it off as nothing more than pranks, and just like, and not paying any attention to it, not dealing with the situation as it came. You're not an educator. Get out of my face. Go to the hospital, deal with whatever you have to deal with, but get out of my face. And then the stand-in comes in, the vice pres, and he's just like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And he's fucking awesome. So
Yeah, he is.
this whole bullying arc was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love to see, because Hina wasn't the original getting bullied, right? It was her friend, who knows her name? You'll find it. But anyway, it's her friend getting bullied, and then her friend ends up leaving school because it's too much for her to take. And that does happen sometimes. And she ends up going to live on a ranch because she's so psychologically damaged by everything that these other girls are doing to her. And then, yeah, forget it.
It's not there.
It's like Chiyoko or some. Anyways, it's
Shoji.
It's something with a C, I'm pretty sure. But and then the bullying falls back onto her, and she deals with it obviously a lot better. She's not like completely traumatized by it, but she also has a great support system around her, being her sister, her grandfather, even Ray, to some extent, and they all
Momo.
and they all play a really good part in like helping her deal with this. And one of the most terrifying interactions for me was in the hallway when Akari meets her mom. I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, say something, do something.
Yeah.
Like, she's obviously as bad as her daughter. Clearly,
exactly.
And like Akari's just like stands there frozen, and who comes and saves the day? Hina. She's just there like, don't worry, I got this. Like, she's an awesome character. She's super strong, and I like that. I personally believe that the story is going in the direction that Ray and Hina will end up together. I think that it's a setup from the beginning. I think that it's well done as well. I know that you don't like that fact.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen.
I do.
I want them to be friends.
I think that even what's his face, Jock, that she was into.
Yeah.
Him moving away is another.
Yeah.
It's a setup tool.
Indicator.
It's such a good setup tool. Like, they're doing that very well, and obviously
Yusuke.
I don't know Yusuke. Yeah, I don't know if we're ever gonna get a season 3. We should.
Probably.
I think that it should continue. It's got a
Damn,
lot of popularity.
Shaft taking forever.
Yeah. So definitely the best arc. Now, now that we're done with the bullying arc, let's move into the not so great stuff. So that was what rose season 2 for me from a 7 to an 8.
Same.
And I know it did the same for you.
Yeah.
And I always kept that in the back of my mind as I was watching through the rest of the season. I was
Same.
like, the bullying arc's gonna save it. The bullying arc's gonna save it.
Same.
It's gonna keep it up there.
Well, this was like the animation's really nice,
Yeah.
and like I see what they're trying to go with.
So season 1 puts a lot of focus on Rei's interaction with the Kawamoto family, as well as Kyoko, his sister, right? His sister's kind of like, I don't want to say the devil on his shoulder, but kind of like this disease that won't go away.
Virus.
Yeah,
in his brain.
she's toxic.
A cancer.
She's toxic as all hell.
Yeah, she's an awful human.
Yeah,
being.
terrible. Well, she herself is broken. And
Oh,
we find
yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
But the fact that she
She
kind of
is,
like redirects
as-
that to everything around her.
She has what we like to call daddy issues.
Yeah, big
Like,
time.
Big time.
Yeah, because it's set up from the backstory that Rei came in as a foster child into this family of shogi, and his foster father spent more time and attention toward him because he was a prodigy than his own children.
Yeah.
And Kyoko was one of his own children.
I love when he gets them like gifts for Christmas.
Yeah.
And
he's the only one that gets a shogi-related gift.
Yeah.
Whereas the other two is like, no.
I want to meet the younger brother.
Yeah, and that's why we need another season. Is
He's
because
just
we need
like, I wanna
we
play
need
my
meet
Game Boy.
Ayumu as well, because there's a lot of focus put on him as well. Like he's mentioned in the first scene.
Who?
Ayumu, the
Is that
brother.
His name? That's his name.
Yeah, because the first scene is Rei playing against his foster father, and
Okay, yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, Kyoko and Ayumu miss you, and he's like, I doubt it. Like, and right away you're like, who the hell are these people that he's referring to?
Yeah.
So I think we need to see some of him. But yeah, the entire first season I feel is a big setup between Rei and the Kawamoto family, as well as his foster, giving his backstory, his foster parents, and his foster siblings as well, and Goto as well. Which is like Kyoko's love interest that's actually married and his wife's in the hospital.
Yeah.
So there's
Lame.
a lot of focus on that. Well, that's for like I would say the first like 14 to 15 episodes, because after
Well, we
that,
don't learn about the wife till season 2.
yeah. But it's I feel it's very long and draggy. It's got good pacing. I
Oh,
think that
God,
Shaft did a
yeah.
good job anyway, despite that, because they had to work with the source material that they had. But it's,
Also, we binged pretty much
Yeah.
all of season 1.
yeah, we did.
So like, after like 4 episodes, it starts to drag on your own mental capacity.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. But yeah, I think that season 1 was a very, very big intro to everything.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me. And then, well, most of it. And then like the last 7 to 8 episodes focuses on one of my favorite characters, which is Shimada. And you don't see it coming. He looks like the most boring normal ass character ever.
Brown hair, suit.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, so Rei has to play this guy. He should be able to beat him, right?
Gets wrecked. Yeah.
Destroyed. And he's like, what did I do wrong? And this guy's 8th Dan, which means he's like the second highest, I think it's second highest rank that you can be in Shogi. And so he's essentially a master. He's a GM.
Yeah.
And he wrecks him. And then we start getting Shimada's backstory. And he's going to play a title match against who currently holds the title of, I forget what it's called. Meijin Soya, which is the white-haired dude, right? The best shogi player,
Yeah.
obviously in the show.
I did enjoy his arc though.
His was which one? Shimada's or Soya's? Yeah, sort of. I liked it. It was okay. It was a good couple of episodes. Was it 2? Like the whole the rain thing.
The rainstorm, yeah.
Yeah. It was okay. We don't get much out of him. Unfortunately, he's like very quiet, but anyway,
He's deaf.
Yeah, well, focusing back on Shimada though, I think that Shimada has a crazy good backstory.
Yeah. He comes from a small town. Right?
Yeah, he comes from a super small town that's obsessed with shogi.
And they all like
They just
elevate
wanna champion-
him as like this hero.
Yeah.
But even if he fails, they
Yeah.
love him for it.
And his health is not the best as well. which
That's
we see a
true.
lot of. Like his stomach lining is like destroyed. He's really good though. I like him because he starts off as just this opponent, and he eventually becomes this mentor
Yeah.
figure. He becomes like the Kakashi of the series, right?
Jiraiya.
Yeah, either one really. He becomes Rei's mentor. He's already Nikaido's mentor. Was another amazing character that we're going to talk about. And I just really like his arc. And I like the transition from him being like non-present at all, shows up, then is super present, and then slowly starts to fade as the story moves to a different direction.
Yeah.
But he's always there. He's always ever present.
Yeah.
And you're always like, when are we going to see more of him? I always got this like feeling like I haven't seen Shimada in a while. And I like that. I like when there's a character that gives me that feeling that makes me want to see more of them. So I really liked his arc, and that's for me is what kind of saved season 1 as well. What brought it up to a 7 for me. It is a 7.
Yeah, I just thought it was well done.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. But yeah, there's not much more to
think
say about season 1.
Music's good.
The soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
Soundtrack is fantastic, especially Shimada's soundtrack. When he first like starts thinking about his old town, I have that song on my phone. Fantastic, look it up, guys.
Okay. I'll have to look it up too.
Yeah, it's a really good song. But yeah, no, the OST is really good. The OPs are good.
Yeah, they are.
The characters are for the most part good.
And the colors are very, very vibrant.
Yeah.
And they all look like frog people.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Their mouths are like super long. That's Shaft though. Shaft does that a lot. They do that with
No,
mouths.
but that's the art style of the manga as well.
Yeah, probably, yeah, as well. It's just the way that they animate things makes it like so much more pronounced.
The head tilts.
Yeah, the freaking head tilt.
I love the head tilts.
Yeah, it's a Shaft staple.
Yeah.
You can't not have the head tilts. But yeah, no, super solid characters for the most part. I liked Rei's character, about 80% of his character. There was another 20%.
I don't like him, but I
Okay.
like him as a character.
Okay, explain.
I find him very boring
Okay,
and like not a very interesting guy,
okay,
but that's his character.
yeah,
So I respect that.
okay. He's
And
not super. He's not super like lively.
Yeah.
He's more like basic, I would say. But he has these moments where like you don't expect him to be like hysterically
Emotional or-
laughing or
yeah.
emotional, and he does.
And then you feel good.
Yeah, and you
'Cause you're like-
still like to see that
And
side
I
of him.
understand that that's the character they're trying to go with.
Yeah.
But I prefer more shonen, more
Like for me,
loudmouths.
I think that Rei is a stronger character than Kosei from Your Lie in April. I think that he's better done because Kosei's like
Yeah.
linear focus. I can't play piano because I can't hear the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rei is like there's a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different avenues explored.
But
So
I can
think
play
that-
shogi still.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But he's got a lot more going on, and I'm more invested to Rei as a character than I would ever be with Kosei.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, that's pretty much talking about all the important arcs. I want to say there's not much more. Animation's great. We already talked about the
It is.
music. The series is good overall. I didn't dislike it.
Neither did I. I thought it was okay. Like,
Yeah. But for me,
would I recommend it?
yeah.
No.
I think
Like-
if something is a 7 or an 8, I would recommend it, but it has to be targeted at a specific
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
person.
I would not
It's-
recommend this to like the normal person. It'd be like
No, exactly.
quite the anime viewer.
Yeah.
And someone with like enjoys slower pace.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is not high action, high octane.
No, it's
There
not.
it's good comedy sometimes. There's good jokes.
There
and,
are
like,
funny parts, yeah.
and like it's just a good story.
Yeah, no, it is. And obviously it's not done.
It's not done.
Eventually we
we've-
will get a season 3, I would assume.
We have a lot of unanswered questions,
Like?
Kyoko and like their
Yeah,
relationship and like
sure.
their entire relationship. Like
Yeah.
we see some pretty intense scenes between the two. So
Yeah. And now
I don't really know what the relationship was.
Yeah.
Was it a little bit more than what we know?
Yeah. Now Hina is also going to Rei's school.
Yeah. So
in
we have all
the next
that
year,
to
so
go
that's,
through.
That's going to be an arc on its own for sure. Is the bullying going to carry over? Is it going to like stay? Is Rei going to do something about it? If it does, there's a lot of things that can happen here. So good series. If we were to recommend it to somebody, it would have to be a very specific kind of person that would enjoy it. It's difficult to identify the kind of person that is because they need to enjoy a competitive game, they also need to enjoy the mellowness or the mellow tone or melodramatic tone of the rest of the series.
Also
They-
have to love drama.
They have to like drama, and they have to somewhat know shogi. Like I feel like that's almost necessary.
And they gotta be okay with slice of life bits.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You have to be a very specific kind of person, but I would recommend it to that kind of person.
So would I.
So,
One last thing.
yeah.
We gotta talk about Nikaido.
Yeah, we do. We didn't cover Nikaido.
He's the best.
He is.
He's pretty wonderful.
First time I saw him, I was like, who is this bumpkin?
Yeah, I'm like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah,
and then
and then-
3 seconds later, you're like, this
This guy's the
pretty
best.
amazing.
He's awesome, yeah.
Like-
For me, I think it goes Hina, Shimada, Nikaido, and for you, it's Hina,
Nikaido, Akari.
Akari, and then Shimada,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So yeah, I think Nikaido's been both of our top threes as characters. He's great. The way that he pushes Rei,
Yeah.
the way that he pushes himself.
Yeah, when he's
Beyond-
a kid.
yeah.
And we see him, like...
Beyond
like,
his health issues,
Yeah.
he's a rich kid, but he doesn't flaunt it.
He doesn't act like he's
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah, and in fact, that has no fucking meaning whatsoever
Yeah.
because he could die at any second.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to improve his shogi and get better and challenge Rei and be his rival.
Remember when he made the book about shogi? Like, he drew
Yeah.
it himself?
Yeah, that was awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, and Ray's like, "What? You made this?"
Yeah.
What I really like about Kaido is that like he has a lot of potential as a character. He's a lot of growth space.
Yeah.
What you can do with him because
But also, it's always this warning sign, like, maybe he could die.
yeah, exactly. As far as rivals go, like if I compare him to Aldini in
That's
Food Wars,
exactly
yeah,
who I
like
pictured.
he's complete contrast. Like Aldini thinks he's a rival, Nikaido thinks he's a rival, but he can be.
Yeah.
like he can actually be as strong as Rei if if his health improves. If he has like some kind of breakthrough, he could be as good as Rei and really be a rival to him. So super strong character, ever present. I really like the moment when he faints during that super important match.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and just passes out and ends up going to the hospital. So and then Rei's like super concerned about him. I like the Nikaido Shimada dynamic, how they're brothers. And
Yeah,
kind of get
brothers.
that backstory. They're in air quotes brothers. But yeah, no, Nikaido's probably definitely top 3 characters.
Yeah, he's great.
Not probably. But yeah, no, there's not much more to say about the series.
Nah.
I feel like there are
There's still
things that we
lots
missed.
to happen.
Oh, this is one thing I did want to mention. As far as the animation goes, and as far as this probably originates from the actual source material, but the locations, the actual the town that he lives in, which I believe is called March. It's like March Town. Which is why it's in part called March Comes in Like a Lion. It's also the Lion King tournament. All of those
There you
play into the title. But the town that they live in, the scenes that we see, like the cuts to the B shots, right?
Yeah.
Of like certain locations in the town, especially the bridge, the iconic bridge that we see Rei walk across all the time. These are all real world locations in a specific town, a specific area of Japan. I looked it up on Google Maps.
Yeah, you should send it to
Everything
me.
is dead on.
Yeah.
Everything's dead on. It's so well done, and I'm like super impressed by that. And it's a location that I want to go and see now myself. So
You gotta get a shogi board and be like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
play a match
exactly.
with the first person.
yeah, the shogi headquarters actually is in that town.
Are you serious?
And it's the shogi hall that we see in. It's the same building.
That's awesome.
It's the same freaking
That's
building.
really cool.
Yeah, it was really well. This had to be like a shogi player that wrote this at some
Yeah.
point. Like, I have to look up his backstory, but
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, no, that was the last thing I wanted to mention. I think that was a super huge attention to detail. It wasn't like a fictional place. It was based somewhat in real life. So yeah, that's it for March Comes in Like a Lion. Obviously, we talked a lot about characters, but I think this
Series is all about
it's
characters.
all about characters. So there's not a lot. Like we're not talking fight scenes here. We're not talking like shogi battles, obviously,
Yeah.
because like yes, we could go into like which ones were important, and which ones weren't, but honestly, you can watch the series yourself and figure that out for yourself.
Yeah,
if
just
you're really
don't fall
interested.
asleep.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all we're gonna talk about today about March Comes In Like a Lion. But of course, as always, you guys have a comment section down below that you can use to let us know what you guys thought of it, if you did check it out, if you haven't checked it out yet, if this video incited you to go and see it. We did say that you have to be a very specific kind of person,
Yeah.
so if you want to test that out.
I'm curious to hear from people who think it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, because it does have a super high rating on Mal. It's like
a 9.2 or something.
9.05. I think it's rated like third or fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
In overall on Mal, which I found insane.
Yeah. I'm like,
My theory is really that surgence of new anime fans and discovering this anime. But yeah, no, let us know what you thought about it. If there was anything that we missed, if there's like certain core concepts or literary devices that were used that we didn't pick up on necessarily, because Shaft's animation is very hard to follow as well.
Yeah,
so trying to
sometimes.
keep up with all the visuals as well as reading the subtitles and stuff, it was probably a lot easier for somebody who's Japanese to watch this series, I would imagine. But if there are things that we missed and you want to like point them out, feel free to in the comment section below. As you guys know as well, we do have a Discord that you guys can reach us at. Link will be in the description as usual. Come and hang out with us from time to time. Let us talk to us if you need to about any anime series. We're open ears. And make sure to drop a like on this video if you guys did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you guys next time.
let's hope for a season 3.
Woo!